What are signs of depression that aren't talked about? Being overly happy at work or socially. I've had clinical depression and anxiety since 13 but gotten way better with managing it in the decades since. After my dad died last year, I used peppiness to hide my extreme sadness anytime I wasn't home or alone in my car when I could cry. After a while it became second nature and I'd tell people I'm great, with a huge smile when all I wanted to do was drive off of a cliff. Socially withdrawing yourself. I didn't think about it until recently, but anytime I've been doing well and started to slip back into a depressive episode, I stop being social. I don't talk to people, I don't smile, I don't text friends, let alone try to hang out, I just seclude myself. I'm no expert, but I'd imagine this is a very common thing with depression. Trying to make other people laugh. Selfless act of depressed people who don't want someone else to feel as bad inside as they do. Excessive sleep. The self-destructive tendencies. Issues with memory and basic short-term recall. Sometimes I forget what the entire conversation is about in the middle of talking. Everyone talks about cancelling plans because of how you're feeling, but not following through with what you say you're going to do due to genuinely forgetting is a big issue for me. People misinterpret it as being irresponsible, unreliable and not caring. One of the tells for therapists is that people with depression generally talk slower and in a more monotone voice. The same ponytail for days/weeks. Bad hygiene in general. I'm gross. Don't take a nap in the daytime if you're depressed. It's a lot worse when you wake up. A really short fuse and explosive anger over stupid stuff. Inability to focus on tasks. Losing stuff. Fatigue. Soul-crushing fatigue. Also memory loss. The lack of motivation to perform well in school or in general. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was unaware I was depressed until my friends talked to me about it. Can't afford mental health. I noticed empty rooms were becoming my only friends where I did not want to communicate with my real friends. Wanted to just stay home on the weekends. I lost vocabulary skills, felt like I had the flu every day. Wake up in the morning and immediately wish the night comes quickly. Not being able to provide yourself comfortable shoes and clothing. So for women, ask about the state of their bras if you are close family and it's appropriate. For men and women, check whether they are wearing socks if they usually wear them and it's not a fashion thing. That apathy of self-care means it's too much effort to worry about. One friend I had was wearing thongs/flip-flops 2 sizes too big. The forced happiness, the fake laughter, the false smile. People don't want to show weakness, so we put on this face that imitates what we want to be, not who we actually are. Dropping all your hobbies at once. Avoiding crowded places. Self-deprecating jokes. Just because someone constantly laughs doesn't mean they're happy. Especially when they bring themselves down to cheer you up. It's not always sadness they show/feel. Sometimes, it can come out as anger, unreasonable anger, anger at everything. One thing I noticed with myself, neediness and constant reaching out. Most of the time people don't try to seek help, but other times they actively seek it but get constantly ignored. However, I was ignored because people just saw me as needy or clingy, but deep down I genuinely needed help. No one took my feelings seriously, no one saw that I was in pain, and it wasn't until my suicide attempt that anyone realized anything was actually wrong. It's hurt though to feel like people are dismissing you. If someone is suddenly very needy or constantly asking for attention, they may just need you to be there for them. Cause for me, sometimes all I wanted was to text someone about my day, but I could text a dozen people and maybe one person would respond, but then they'd ignore me within a few messages. Not feeling anything at all. Everything is an impossible task. Cooking something? Even if you just pop it into the microwave, it seems so arduous task. This is why we're often messy and smelly, because even showing is an effort. Why bother? It's not like it changes anything. I've been prescribed medication and it's made things better, but there are still many things that are so hard to do. Cooking is among those things. If it's outside of a very simple meal, it's just too much effort. Silence. More than usual. Wanting to be alone also. Definitely apathy, nothing matters anymore. People just want to stay in their homes, rooms, doing nothing. Feeling miserable is definitely the worst feeling ever. Did anyone else feel they have depression now that everyone else's comments relates to them? I was talking with my therapist about how I've recently been feeling a lot of the secondary symptoms of depression: lack of energy/motivation, bad sleep patterns, not enjoying my favorite activities, but I haven't been particularly sad. She opened up the DSM-5 and confirmed that this still counts as a depressive episode. Turns out sadness is just one symptom of depression. Slowed movement. People who are depressed tend to generally move slower than they did before. People's eyes. It's not foolproof, but sometimes you really can tell by looking someone in the eyes. Extended time on Reddit. There are a lot of really great examples of more uncommon symptoms in this thread already. However, I wanted to add one that I have personal experience with: distorted reality. Now this sounds a lot more serious than it actually is. For some people, it's feeling like every day is overcast and grey when in fact it has been sunny. For me, I know my depression is getting worse if I feel like my hair is grey. In reality, my hair is brown, but when the depression hits hard, my hair looks grey to me. No sex drive. This was very helpful. Feeling like you're gonna burst while continuing daily activities and hobbies that are supposed to be fun just because you have to. Difficulty remembering things or just general confusion. It can make doing simple things difficult. Anxiety. I wake up in the morning with overwhelming anxiety. I then have to make myself get up and go to work in a business that I own and have been doing for 36 years. People who I talked with about this are impressed with my level of success. I get that, but just imagine how far I could have gotten if I weren't so depressed and anxious. Feeling like I didn't deserve the pleasure of good tasting food. I remember being in a morning meeting with fresh bagels, and I wanted to eat one but felt I didn't deserve it. As others have stated in their comments, apathy. A general malaise about everything. Also, a lack of focus. Your mind has split apart like a centrifuge in 10,000 different directions, and it's difficult to fixate on any one thing at a time. This doesn't translate into the magical ability to multitask, however. It's more like a prelude to your brain flatlining and getting stuck in the process of rebooting. Attention issues. This is a huge part of depression for me. Apathy plus the inability to focus is a huge impediment on daily life. You spend so much energy at work or school or both trying to focus and keep up. Then you go home and cannot do anything. You're just tired all the time. There's almost nothing that can fix it outside of medication and/or therapy. You just go home and sit there. Also, daydreaming. People living inside their own heads a lot is a sign of several things, but it can also be a sign of depression. They daydream to escape their normal life. It's a coping mechanism. I just went through this when my mom died recently. We're still working through it in therapy. A common misconception is that people with depression are non-functional, which is obviously not true. While this happens to some, many go about their daily public life acting normal. People think they can't possibly be depressed because they do so much. If you look into their life, however, you'll see that there is something that is being neglected. Whether it's their private life, hygiene, cleaning their home, taking care of family and/or pets, etc., or their work life. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Also, stop saying things like if you just do X, you'll be fine. No, Karen, while going for a walk outdoors is definitely helpful, but it's not going to make my depression magically disappear. General laziness, at your service. I am an older person reading this. Are we sure some symptoms aren't societal driven? When I was young, we were not expected to live up to the lives of celebrities, drive Mercedes, go to sandals, look like a runway model, hell even get a college degree. Also, there was no social media to threaten your sanity. It was okay to be in a funk. Mom said it's a part of life but would offer me a cup of coffee or tea with sugar and caffeine, which I still rely on today as soon as that funky feeling starts. We still sort of live in the caveman's world. The need to survive drives your actions, after that no expectations but also no guilt. In today's world there's lots of guilt. Take some time to get over the guilt/frustration/anger thing, and maybe that will spark something and let you know you're okay as you are. Some are lazy, some are overly ambitious, no one is perfect. Don't believe life is like the commercials. Good luck and stay safe. Constipation. True fact.